Now, it's a known fact that good artists create and great artists steal. For example, I ripped off Arch Enemy to create this scalding hot D minor pentatonic lick. And so can you. Well, hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. On today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how one of my favorite backstage pre-show warm-ups turned into one of my favorite phrasing ideas for minor pentatonic scale shapes. And the cool thing about this is you can take this phrasing idea and apply it to any other 2-note per string situation you find yourself in, from other scale shapes to arpeggios. Sky's the limit. It's a great one to work on to get that picking hand warmed up and synchronized with the left hand. I'm sure you guys are going to get a lot of mileage out of it. As always, this video is brought to you by everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Even for just a low cost of $1 hair a month, you get access to a ton of backing tracks, bonus lessons, downloadable tabs, and a community of awesome people like yourself. This week, everybody who supports my channel on any level gets access to downloadable tabs as well as a bunch of practice tracks that I made to help you guys get this lick in shape fast. I'll be uploading those practice tracks at a variety of different speeds as well as the MIDI files to go along with it. That way you can build your perfect practice session. So don't delay, sign up today. And also don't forget to solve that pesky upper nudity problem that's been plaguing you for years by buying a Shred Till You're Undead t-shirt using the threadless link down there in the video description. Gear-wise for today's video, I'm using this lovely Dunable DE-R2, which is just fantastic. Get her Dunable, pretty sure that's the company slogan, right? And I'm running this into the Fractal Audio Axe FX3. Before we get any further, let's hear that blazing lick again at stepdad speed. Okay, let's go ahead and get one thing out of the way here first, because like any great artist, I stole this lick. It's not something that I made up. Maybe a good way to look at it is I took something that somebody else made and I repurposed it. That sounds a little less malicious, doesn't it? Anyway, here lately, one of my favorite backstage pre-show warm-ups has been the picking pattern that appears at the first of the Arch Enemy song, Ravenous. Played slowly, it sounds something like this. I've just found that's a really great lick to practice to get everything in sync and ready to shred. The pattern itself is pretty simple, and again, it's using that 2-note per string format that I talked about earlier. You can see the idea is here, you start off with a pick stroke and a pull off, and then on the next string, you're going to play 2 notes with a downstroke, then an upstroke. So it's down, pull, down, pull, down, up, okay? Notice you got a little bit of palm muting on there too, just to make the notes extra punchy. So you're going to play that lick 4 times in a row before he changes it up to this pattern right here. So you can see what happened right there is you kind of had a double pull off. So it's pick, pull, down, up on the next string. Do that again here. Downstroke, downstroke, down, up. Then you do that again. Then you do a single. I guess if that's a double, this would be a single. Okay? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, double, double, single. Then you just move it up a fret. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, double. But one thing that I've always done whenever I learn other people's licks is to try to decode what's making it work in other contexts that I could use it in. So with that pattern right there, it's pretty obvious you could use that idea of single, 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 double, double, single, and apply that to any other format where you've got 2 notes per string. So let's say, for example, you know a couple of 2-note per string arpeggio shapes, like G major 7 and A minor 7. you could take that picking pattern and apply it to those shapes like this. And now it doesn't sound like an arch enemy riff, but like something cool that you came up with on your own. This is the most creative and frugal way to steal from other artists. But of course, everybody's favorite 2-note per string buddy is that good old-fashioned minor pentatonic scale. And because all the main minor pentatonic shapes are 2 notes per string, it means it's a perfect breeding ground for this lick to live in. Today's lick is in D minor pentatonic, but it also grabs a few notes from the F major pentatonic shape that would be next in order, as well as that flat 5 from our good buddy, the blues scale. We're going to start this off here on the high E string, and we're going to go up here to the 15 on the high E and then pull off to the 10. Again, this G note right here is from the major pentatonic box that would occur next. So you're going to do a pull off, and then do both notes of the scale on the B string. So that's the 13 and 10. So that's downstroke, pull off, down, up. Next you're going to play inside of the box and do the 13 pulling off to 10. Pick, pick. So now you have. Then repeat that. And then we get up to the section of the lick that's the double, double, single part, right? It was like single, 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 single. Then we're going to have double, 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 single. Here's how we're going to play it. We're going to start off here by playing. So I was kind of using both of those positions here. Downstroke, pull off, downstroke, pull off, pick, pick. Okay? That's your first double. The next double is going to go like this. So that was the same idea, but on the B string instead. So I'm playing the 15 here, pulling off to 10, 13 pulling off to 10, and then playing the next 2 notes of the scale on the G. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, double, double, and then the single is going to go like this. It's kind of like repeating the last 4 notes that you did right there. I'd recommend taking that sequence there and practicing that on its own for a little while, and also seeing where else in the scale you could do that. For example, you could do it right here. Or put it into an entirely different portion of the scale, like this. But you don't want your use of sequences to become predictable, so on the next portion of the lick here, we're going to interpret that pattern in kind of a different way on the G and D strings. Okay, here's what I'm seeing right here. On the D string, we're going to have these 2 notes, like usual. And on the G, we have access to 4 different notes we can play right here. The minor third, the 4th, the flat 5 or blue note, and the regular 5th. We're going to start off here with the 14 on the G, pulling off to 10, and then alternate pick both notes on the D string, down, up. Next what you're going to do is to chromatically descend down a note on the G string. So now I'm going to be doing 13 pulling up to 10, both notes on the D, 12 on the G, pulling to 10, and then back up to 13 on the G. So you can see the G string is just kind of walking down and up like this. And then we get to the section of the lick with the doubles, which we're going to walk down like this. So you can see I just walked that G down 1 note at a time here, starting off on the 14 to 13, both notes on the D, then do 13 to 12. Double, double. And then you got the single to play after that, which we're just going to do like this. Again, the last 4 notes that you did a second ago. And and then a good strong resolution at the note D. So odds are the picking is probably going to be the hardest part for a lot of you guys out there. And whenever you're approaching a lick like this, I think it's a really good idea to kind of divide and conquer the hands. Ignore what the left hand is doing here and just work on the right hand here for a second. Because if you really isolate it, you'll notice that the right hand's not really doing anything too crazy, and that single pull-off that we're doing really does help shoulder the load and makes this a lot easier to play. Okay, so let's think about what the right hand is doing here. It's doing down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, up. So if I was just to mute the strings here with the left hand and focus just on what the picking hand is doing, it would look like this. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. That's the first part of the lick. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll notice that's essentially just a gallop, right? Bum, ba da bum, ba da bum, ba da bum. So it's not really like an entirely unfamiliar pattern if you play a lot of heavy metal and stuff. What I recommend doing is taking that picking pattern that you're trying to get down and take it somewhere else entirely and make it into a riff, okay? I've noticed that a lot of us, whenever we're practicing on leads, we play them kind of light and dainty and stuff. We're trying to make it like super accurate and precise. And a lot of times that means that our power and groove and dynamics kind of goes elsewhere in the right hand. But if you're doing that same pattern as part of a riff, you'd probably attack it a lot more viciously rhythmically, right? So let's take that pattern right there that we're trying to get down, 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 up on the adjacent string, and just turn it into a 2-note riff. Let's take like a D power chord right here. So 5 on the A, 7 on the D. And just practice that pattern right there. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, okay? 2, 3, 4. Notice I'm really digging into that first note with the pick. That way you get that good strong accent and it keeps you tied into the groove. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. We're going to speed that up. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Just by making it into a riff, you're going to be playing with more power and authority. Then whenever you translate it over here into this lead part, you're going to be playing a lot more aggressively. So the first part of the picking pattern for the lick was kind of that gallopy thing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have the doubles, right? Da da doo doo da da doo doo, and the single. The doubles were down, 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 up, down, 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 up. And then the single was just down, down, up like before. So if you're to play the entire picking pattern on its own, it would sound like this. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a double, double, single. 1, 2, 3, 4, double, 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 single. 1, 2, 3, 4, double, 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 single. Now let's apply that pattern to our 2-note riff, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, double, double, single. After you isolate that pattern and get comfy with it by practicing it for a while, you're going to go back to the lick that we talked about and play it a lot more confidently. You're going to be able to concentrate on what this hand is doing and let this hand just go on autopilot. This is a trick I heard Paul Gilbert talk about years ago, and again, I stole that from him and applied it to my own playing, and I found that it really does work great. So don't forget, kids, if in doubt, riff it out. You'll notice that I've got some palm muting going on whenever I play that pattern. The first string that we hit with the accent, I don't palm mute. And then the lower string, I do palm mute. And this is for a couple different reasons. I like the dynamic that you get whenever you have a really loud and clear set of notes followed by a more tight, punchy set of palm muted notes. I just like those dynamics. But another great benefit here is that it really helps you control the strings, because a palm muted note doesn't really have any sustain. Like, they're just naturally short sounding like that. So that means even if you have a little bit of bleed over in between notes where maybe one note's still being pushed down when the other one gets struck, as is likely to happen whenever you're using your first finger for two separate notes, this is going to help make it sound nice and clean. Whenever you're practicing this lick slowly with the palm muting on there, it's going to sound kind of crappy because the notes just don't sustain. It'll sound something like this, and you'll probably think you're doing it wrong, but trust me, you're doing it right, and it'll come in handy when you start playing the lick fast. Here's what it'll sound like. Doesn't sound too great, right? There's a lot of space in between the notes. It sounds really like pingy and like a banjo or something. But trust me, whenever you start playing that lick fast, that lack of sustain is going to be your best friend and make it sound really aggressive and punchy. So there you go, guys. Hopefully that gives you all some ideas about how you can steal something from another player, slap a new paint job on it, and call it your own. If you come up with something cool that you like, be sure to put it up on the Instagram along with the hashtag Weekend Wankshop 314 and tag me in it too. My handle over there is @BenEllerGuitars. I'd love to check out whatever you come up with. Thanks so much for liking this video and subscribing. Be sure to ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. Really does help. Ring that bell. Helps you get notified. Helps me show up in the feeds and stuff a little bit more. Click that thing. Go ahead. I'll wait. Did you do it? Okay, you did it. Thanks. Really does help a lot. If you like this video and want to get some more out of it, be sure to grab those tabs and practice tracks over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. $1 a month gets you those, as well as a ton of other stuff. There's like hundreds of posts on there of goodies for you guys to check out. And be sure to click the Threadless link down there in the video description to get yourself some Shred Till You're Undead merchandise. Well, guys, it's been fun as always, but it's time to get away from the computer and go practice some guitar. Let's click it. More picking.